Hello, this is Bobby Miles from Texas Skid Steer. Let's talk about some things that you should consider when you're going to buy a used skid steer loader. One thing that you should think about is whether you want wheels, wheeled machine, or whether you want a track machine. Uh, Wheeled machines are in general a little bit less expensive than the track machines, but for most circumstances nowadays, I prefer a track machine. You get a little more pushing power, get a little more stability. You can get around in the mud a little easier. I kind of like to use a track machine when I can. Now, there are some reasons I wouldn't want a track machine. Now, if I was in a scrap metal yard and I was going to have things sticking up on, in the undercarriage, uh, you know, I'd probably go with a tire machine with foam filled tires, so I wouldn't get a flat with a tire machine. And I might not want a track machine if I was in a rock quarry, where I was running over rocks all day and tearing up the tracks too quick. I might want a tire machine, or they got no flat tires out now. That would be great for that. That's something you need to think about. I like a track machine, more stable, more pushing power, and you need to think about brand. What brand would you even consider? Well, I'd say this: stick with name brand. Caterpillar, Case, John Deere, New Holland, Takeuchi. I mean, don't go with some oddball brand. That's one thing that I'd advise. You want to make sure that you can get parts for the machine. That's something to consider. And then you need to start thinking about the horsepower that you need for the job, and the weight of the machine. Are you going to be moving it around a lot on a trailer? That's something that you need to think about. And when of course you need to think about the hours of the machine. If you get a really high houred machine for a bargain, it might not be a bargain in a month, or you may have a $10,000 repair to stack on top of what you paid for the machine. And that kind of upsets most people, because the machine is not going to be worth a penny more than you paid for it. You're just going to have a very expensive repair that you had to pay for. So the condition of the machine is super important. And go and look for my video, how to inspect a skid steer, and that'll help you avoid repairs. And you need to think about the controls that you're going to use. There's a lot of different options nowadays. There's the standard Bobcat controls, there's the case controls, and there's the joystick controls. There's even machines where you can switch back and forth. So there's a lot of options on controls to use today. And you need to think about lifting capacity. And when I say that, I'm not talking about operating load, because that's a made-up number. You need to think about tipping capacity. Operating load is just a fraction, usually 50 or 33%, depending on the company, of the tipping load. Think about tipping load more than you do operating capacity, and realize that most machines will lift somewhere around 75% of their tipping capacity. It's just not safe to move that amount of weight with the bucket up in the air. You always want to carry your load low to the ground until you get to where you want to have to lift it up high. And you think about your auxiliary hydraulics. Don't buy a machine that doesn't have auxiliary hydraulics. And you can go on there and the YouTube and watch my video about auxiliary hydraulics. I've got a couple of them on there. Just type in auxiliary hydraulics and Texas skid steer, and you should be able to come across them. One of the main things is buy the right machine for the job that you have. I mean, getting the wrong machine for the job is it's a terrible thing to do. It's like getting a handsaw, when you need a chainsaw. So, if you want to talk about the machine that you need, just, go to my website, texasskidsteer.com, look at my machines. Give me a call, 817-220-0100. And if you forget my number, I'm pretty easy to find on the internet. Just go to Texas Skid Steer, and you'll find my number again. Anyway, I'm Bobby Miles from Texas Skid Steer. I hope this helped a little bit. Feel free to call me. Y'all have a great day. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.